A Child in the Night. In the winter of 1995, my son was born. I was a single mother, having had him out of wedlock. After giving birth, I pleaded with my parents, who didn't approve of my situation, to let me return to my childhood home. My mother offered no help at all, leaving me to care for the baby by myself. As fatigue began to set in, that's when it happened. Even now, I sometimes wonder if it was all a hallucination. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of my baby crying and nursed him. He drank his milk and fell asleep, but about 30 minutes later, he woke up again, crying. I was already feeling the pressure of my situation, and the last thing I needed was to be told that I had kept everyone awake with his crying. I lay on my back, placing my baby face down on my chest, gently patting his back to soothe him. Somehow, I dozed off in that position. When I opened my eyes, I felt the familiar weight and warmth on my chest. I shouldn't drop him. I need to put him back in the crib, I thought, tilting my body slightly. To my right, my baby lay peacefully asleep, his tiny fist clenched. Why is my baby over there? Then what am I holding? In that moment, my body froze. I had never experienced sleep paralysis before. It felt as though thin strings were tied to the soles of my feet and the top of my head, pulling me in opposite directions. All the while, I could see my baby sleeping to my right. Suddenly, his head began to twist and turn, rotating towards me with an eerie motion, as if wound up like a spring. Scary. I don't want to see anymore, I thought, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't look away. When he finally faced me completely, his eyes were rolled back in his head, his skin a sickly hue, and he had a traditional hairstyle like a samurai who had just cut off his top knot. In a panic, I wanted to recite some sutras, but all I could manage was Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, which didn't sound coherent at all, more like I was just babbling. The face that looked just like my child began to elongate, glowing faintly, and then it completely detached from his body. It flew around the room in a frenzied spiral. At the same time, a deep, boisterous laughter echoed, and I thought, why can't my parents hear this? Someone help me. After that, I have no memory. I must have fainted. The next day, I quickly packed my things and rushed back to my apartment, leaving my childhood home in a panic. I didn't tell my parents. They wouldn't believe me anyway. After that, I experienced no more nightmares, and I almost forgot about that night in the flow of daily life. For years passed like this. Then my cousin, 5 years older than me, got married. His wife, S, and I quickly became close since we were around the same age. Not long after, S got pregnant and gave birth to a baby boy. About a month later, I visited S with a gift to celebrate her baby's arrival. While I was there, she suddenly had a serious look on her face. Hey, that's me. Please don't laugh, okay? Of course I won't laugh. What's wrong? I replied, with great hesitation. She shared, I want to believe it was just a dream, but last night, K, her son, was flying around the room by his neck. In fact, I should have added something more. S had been warned by relatives. You'll have a scary experience. They said that after giving birth to a successor, the heads of newborns would fly around the house. Since I wasn't marrying into their family and was in a somewhat ambiguous position, nobody told me this. Cry. By the way, my mother only gave birth to daughters, so she had never experienced anything scary. Thank goodness.